Good afternoon, everybody, and well, it's a wet afternoon, isn't it? We didn't quite expect this today, did we? But what a pleasure it is to be hosting the very first ever Surrey Barks live property show, and I couldn't be more happy to have Ian Macbeth from Avocado Property Berkshire on the show. Ian, how are you?
I'm very good, Ian. Love your name. Obviously, Ian's come together for this, but yeah, really excited to talk about property, and really appreciate you inviting me on to kind of be part of the show. So looking forward to it.
No, look, it's an absolute pleasure, and yeah, you've touched on it there. Is there a better name in property than Ian? I've yet to hear it. I'm yet to hear it. Now, for everybody who doesn't know what's going to happen with regards to this show, let me just run it through. We are going to have a market update very shortly from Ian. A lot is obviously happening in the property market at the minute. So Ian's going to give us a bit of a breakdown as to what is going on with that. And we also have three houses that we're going to run through. Sort of interactive, aren't we, Ian? So if anybody does have a question today and they want to ask the property expert here a question, please do comment below. We can see them. We will get to them as soon as we possibly can. And if we don't get to them in this show, we will, we'll go through the questions after, and I'm sure Ian will get in touch with you. So if you do have a question, please do comment below. Now, before we get into the crux of the show, for those who aren't familiar with Avocado Property Berkshire, we do have a short video to show. So if I could get Elaine to play the roll video, shall we say. In fact, I think he might have just dipped out. So I'm going to jump in and play a short video for Avocado Property Berkshire. Yes. Now, obviously, we can't say that word because it's only 4:30 right now. It looks like you guys do things a little bit different. Just talk about, well, tell us about the idea for Avocado. How did it come about?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, obviously, everyone knows what that last slogan stands for. But I think I've been in the industry since about 2003, and my business partner, Mike, that you would have seen in that video, 2005. So we've kind of experienced life as a young estate agent and as a senior estate agent. And, you know, there's no secret. The elephant in the room is that people typically don't like estate agents, and there's a certain way and a persona that they kind of carry themselves, unfortunately. And
you said it, Ian. You said it.
I'm happy to admit that. You know, I'm happy to admit that. It's no problem at all. And the purpose behind our business was to stop being embarrassed of introducing yourself as an estate agent and try and do something that we would be proud of. And in a sort of soppy fashion, I've got a 3-year-old daughter. In 10 years' time, I want her to kind of be quite proud of what her dad does for a living, rather than me feeling embarrassed about her introducing me to her friends. So that's the purpose behind the business. Is to create something different. And our business model, as you can probably get from the intro video there, was pretty simple. Estate agents do this, let's do the opposite. And that's the purpose behind the video. So, you know, right down to the fact that, you know, we threw away our suits and our ties, and we got pink hoodies. So yeah, a bit different.
No, I like it. I like it. And I've seen a lot of activity, certainly your social media channels, and it seems to be working really, really well. It's a different way of doing things. And that's what we like, certainly on this show. So look, Ian, we touched on it at the start of this show. The market at the minute is, is it all over the place? I mean, it's changed, hasn't it? Things have changed. Can you give us a property market update and let everybody know what is going on? And just quickly before you start, if anybody does have a question, please do comment below if you're in the middle, if you've exchanged, or if you, whatever situation you're in, please do comment below and ask the property expert Ian. So yeah, sorry Ian, take it away. What is the current state of the property market at the minute?
Yeah, well, it's obviously a new one for everyone involved. So I think it's kind of something that experts in all sorts of fields are just taking it day by day at the moment. But I think if we kind of take it back to almost where Brexit happened in 2016, there was a period there for a good 3.5 years where it was quite a sluggish market. There was a lot of uncertainty, and people didn't really know, is it the right time, not the right time? And everyone just held off a little bit with the market and waited to see something trigger a certainty. And that inevitably was the Brexit situation coming to an end in January.
Right.
What we found at that point at the start of this year was this Boris bounce that everyone kind of spoke about. And it was definitely something that was true. It was a real thing. I think all estate agents experienced that. And January through to the middle of February was a really, really busy market. It seemed like people had held off making a move for a period of time, and all of a sudden they just went, right, now we've got to do it. You know, we've outgrown our property, or we need to upsize, or we want to get on the ladder. We know what's going on in the UK. Let's get cracking. So that was kind of the start of the year. And then obviously lockdown and COVID has happened. And it's almost like that's put a pause on it. So where the market sits at the moment is still very much one that we're learning from day to day. But what we found in lockdown was it was paused and new transactions couldn't take place. Mortgage lenders pretty much pulled all of their products that were available out there at the moment. So it was very difficult to get a mortgage, and only anything at the start of lockdown that was already due to exchange actually took place as a completion. So there's a pent out amount of properties that are now going to start really exchanging. So if you're in the trades or anything like that, I would imagine it's going to be quite busy because there's going to be a lot of completions over the next 2 months as it's bottlenecked.
So that's good news then. That's good news.
Yeah, good news for those guys. I would imagine they're going to be busy with painting, decorating, carpets and kitchens and bathrooms. Because, there'll be more completions than we've seen in years for the next couple of months. I think there was a report this morning or yesterday that BBC put out about obviously the drop in market and the drop in prices. Taking an individual month is quite a difficult thing to do. It's something that more you look at over the course of a quarter. You look at it over 3 months, and definitely if there was a drop every single month for the rest of the year, then that would be a bit of a problem. But the inevitability is that land registry figures that are showing today or for the last month would have been from 3 months prior, which is the start of lockdown. So it makes sense that there was a bit of a scary scenario there. But where we stand at the moment is we're a little bit driven by the mortgage lenders. 10% deposits, we need to come out of the woodwork a bit more. We need some 90% loan to values to come from the lenders, and that will help the first time buyers. I don't think what we've experienced over the last 2 weeks we expected, which is a lot of buyer registration, which has been really exciting. Loads of buyer registration. A lot of people talking to that live in flats that are now looking to speed up their process of when they were looking to move. Obviously, lockdown has meant that they're now desperate to get a garden. So potentially we'll see some 2 and 3 bedrooms, sort of sub 400k around this area that maybe sell a bit faster than they were expecting, or fetch a premium because the demand is to get the garden. That's obviously a positive. And we're finding a lot of people that were in February and March looking to make the move and do an upsize that have now come to the market because they were planning to move anyway because they'd outgrown their property, and now they definitely feel they've outgrown their property after being locked in it for the last 10 weeks. So there's some changes to the market that we're sort of monitoring bit by bit, but there's a lot of money in the economy, and I think where people have had they've had mortgage holidays, they've had furlough. So I think where a lot of people thought they might struggle with money, they've actually ended up saving money. They're not spending money on diesel and petrol, and everyone's been a bit more cautious. They're not going out to Nando's on the weekend a couple of times, and people have probably not spent as much money as they thought. So I feel that the market has done a little bit of something different to what a lot of people said. And people like to report on bad news, but I think if you had an estate agent on BBC Breakfast today or whatever, they would all be quite positive at the moment, I think.
Okay, so my question is this: for somebody not as not very knowledgeable in this sector, is this a good time to be selling your house, or is it a good time to be buying it, or is it a bit of both? Really, is there a cross collaboration? I suppose.
Yeah, if you ask a classic estate agent, they will always say yes to that answer. What I would say, because they see pound signs, hence me wearing a pink polo with an avocado. I'm not a classic estate agent. I would say it depends on your personal situation. If you need to move because you need a different property for schools, for job relocation, it's all relative. If you're going to sell one and buy one and the prices drop, they drop on both. They don't drop on one. If you're looking to downsize and sell a big property that's maybe lost a lot of money to buy a smaller one, is it the best time to do that if prices are dropping? Potentially not. But if the circumstances for that individual mean they need to, then do it, because it's about your life. It's not about the money in the bank at the end of the day. It's about the individual, and anyone that's got questions in a situation or a circumstance, comment. I'm happy to answer on an individual perspective, but generally speaking, an estate agent say yes, I say it's about your needs and your desires. And if you want to move because you want to move, then do it. Don't let it hold you back.
Fantastic. Look, some valuable advice there, Ian. And times are changing, things are moving forward, and by the time we come around next week, things will have changed again, aren't they? But it's important to stay up to date with these things, isn't it? So I really appreciate that. And just to echo your words as well, if anybody does have a question, please do comment below. We will be able to see them. And if we don't get around to answering them in this show, Ian will check the comments after and get back to you. Right now, Ian, we have some properties to show, don't we? We want to go through, have a little look at 3 properties, and we're going to start in Jennings Park, aren't we? Now, before we get going, we do have a short video to show of this property. It's in Spoonbill Rise. So I'm going to play this video now and enjoy, and then we're going to talk about the property in more detail.
Hi everyone, Ian from Avocado Property. I'm delighted to welcome to the market this 4-bedroom detached family home on the Jennings Park development. As you can see, the outlook is stunning, looking out into a lovely greenery area, giving it lots of privacy. The property is also in a close location to the school, to the co-op, and all of the local parks and greenery areas as well. The property was actually purchased by the current owners as a new build when it was actually the show home, and there's been upgrades to the kitchen with granite worktops and also an upgrade to the back of the property where there's a lovely conservatory. Come on inside, let's take a look.
In-house, that is. Tell us a little bit more about it. What can you tell us? Do we know the price?
Yeah, it's on for $500,000. It's on for 500. It's a great house. I mean, we picked 3 houses out that we've got, and obviously this being the first one, it's a lovely property. The vendors actually bought it from new, so there's a couple of little upgrades that they did. When we go through the photos, we can talk about. I think Jennings Park as an area is one of those sort of places where there's a really strong community, and now that it's a grown community, it's not a new build development site anymore. Over the last kind of 8 years, for example, that the vendors have lived there, it's just got a nice feel about Jennings Park. Nice local shop, nice local community. Very, very active Facebook chat group as well, where people help each other and kind of support each other with recommendations. The house, as you can see here, what you can't see is it overlooks a nice woodland area. Bit more character with the way they built these properties, with kind of the bay windows downstairs as well.
Right.
And where it looks out over a nice woodland area, there's just a short stroll into kind of local parks. The developers actually put a lot of parks and walking areas. And a lot of people that I spoke to in Jennings Park over lockdown fell in love with the development a little bit more because they were really fortunate with the areas and space they've got to walk into, which you don't get on a lot of new build developments. So, it's a popular area, and it's a nice, really nice property. As we go through the photos, you can see from the video, obviously one of our marketing videos is a little bit different way to view a property, I think, than just kind of, a couple of photos on the internet and floor plan.
I was just about to say that. It's a beautiful video, and anybody watching, actually, I know Jennings Park very well. There's a beautiful sort of bluebell field near the woodland area, isn't there? And it's up near there, and it's absolutely stunning and a great place for kids as well, isn't it? So it's a wonderful location. Shall we have a little look through the property, shall we? Let's start in the living room, Ian. What can you tell us about the? I suppose it's a central hub, isn't it, of a house? That and the kitchen, isn't it? I mean, it looks very cozy to me.
Yeah, it's a lovely living room, and what I think the vendors here have done, they've got 2 young children, and what they've managed to do is, with the big kitchen space and the conservatory that we'll look at in a minute, is they've managed to keep the living room very adult, which I think is nice. We've done the same at our house. You can't always do that, but you could here. The bay window gives it a nice bit of character. And again, looking at the developers, things like the high skirting boards, the coving, the nice door quality, just a nice few touches that they've done. Obviously, the guys that live here as well put some nice feature wallpaper on. The fireplace is a nice feature of the room, so that the telly's not the focal point. It's just a high standard. Carpets they laid here recently as well. They're refitted carpets that they put in. But there's those little touches that sometimes you don't see in a classic new build that you can here. And I just think it's a nice flow, the way that they've kept this as kind of an entertaining and adult space rather than kids' toys everywhere, which when you've got young kids, it's quite hard to do that in your house. They take over the whole house.
Yeah, tell me, I have a 4-year-old son myself, so I'm well aware. And it does look beautiful. It does look homely. You spoke about entertainment space. The kitchen is obviously an important area for entertainment as well. And I noticed it's had some upgrades. Is that right?
Yeah, they put the granite worktops in there. So just a nice feature with the granite worktops. You've also got to the left there, fridge, freezer, freestanding fridge, not freestanding, integral fridge, freezer. There's a dishwasher where you can kind of see the handle in a slightly different location. Sink's obviously 1.5 bowl, but it's built in. Even the drain is built into the granite worktops. Just a high standard kitchen, double oven, and you've got some nice kind of different features with the cupboards to the left and the right of the extractor hood as well there. Yeah. So it's just got a nice feel about the kitchen. And I think we'll go on to the next photo, which will show you what's behind it as well, because it's a big kitchen, the full length of the property. And this is
this behind it?
It is, exactly. That's all part of the same room.
Perfect.
So the bay window kind of continues like it does in the lounge. And you've just got a big living space here that you can use not just as a kitchen, but again, if you were entertaining or if you've got the kids having tea, that's quite a big kind of breakfast dining table. So yeah, it's a big room, and again, just high quality, again, that you can see with the skirting, with the tiles, and with the features, the way they've done the curtains as well is quite nice too. So yeah, it's a really good space. A really good selling point is the kitchen diner.
Fantastic. Now let's head upstairs, shall we? Let's go. This is the upstairs landing. Now, I mean, the landing speaks for itself, doesn't it? But it looks very nice. It looks very spacious and bright. Actually, one thing I like about this property, it's very light, and I guess that's from the area it is. And a friend of both of ours, actually, in Jamie Shepherd, has commented and said Spoonbill Rise is a beautiful area, and I totally agree with you, Jamie. It really is, because I've walked past it many a time.
Yeah.
Let's move into the bedroom, shall we? There's 4 bedrooms in total. Is that right? This is
4 bedrooms.
The first one.
Yeah, 4 bedrooms. This is the master bedroom. Got the ensuite to the right there. You've got obviously a nice big open light window. Sun hits this property in the morning at the front, so it's quite a nice room to be in because it stays dark. You've got his and hers wardrobes to the left of this bed, which you can't see, but you could in the video. I say they're his and hers wardrobes. Normally, end up being hers and hers wardrobes, but
they're hers.
They are in there to be moved into, shall we say? And then you've got like I say, the ensuite there as well. So nice big room, nicely done. It's got everything you need, and good shape as well.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at another bedroom as well whilst we're upstairs, shall we?
Yeah, another big double.
Now,
that window actually looks
I prefer this one actually, Ian. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
I prefer this one.
Yeah, it's the guest room as such, really. So it's staged really nicely. It's a great shape. It's the second biggest bedroom that is in the property. And what's also quite nice about this one is the window to the right there looks out over to the woodland. So a really nice private one. If you come to stay there, obviously you would experience a nice room. It looks almost like a hotel boutique room, doesn't it? It's lovely.
It does actually. Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if I'd taken the wife away for a nice weekend and that's what we were given. Right, let's head downstairs because there's a conservatory, isn't there? Let's have a look at the conservatory. Looks very bright and airy.
Yeah, this is one of the upgrades that they did. So they put the conservatory to the left of the back garden, so it doesn't eat up too much of the space. But where we were in the lounge previously, this is where the open kind of walkthrough takes you into the conservatory. So it's very tidy at the moment, which is lovely. It is obviously the kids' play area as well. So, you know, it's one of those rooms that if we've all got kids, we know turns into a bomb site around the day and then it gets tidied up in the evening. But it's a great living space. It's good for the kids to have somewhere to put their toys. You know, they've got their own telly set up there as well. And it's got enough space to put a nice comfy kind of chair in so that you can sit with them while they play. To the right, you've got double doors which take you out into the garden. So if you are entertaining or if you're sitting in the garden, the kids are in the playroom, then it all works very well. I did a viewing there just last week, Friday, and it was red hot on Friday, and it was actually quite cool in there as well. With opening windows, that it keeps a nice draft coming through. So yeah, lovely, lovely room. Nice upgrade.
Fantastic. And you mentioned outside as well. Let's head outside and look at the garden because this is always a big selling point, isn't it? The garden.
Yeah, I think with any new build, what you're going to get is you're never going to get a massive garden, but it's important that with the garden, you get a nice layout. And this one's got a really nice layout. It's got a big patio area. I'm sort of tucked away in the corner there. Again, from the video, why we do the video is it probably shows it in a slightly better light because you can see all of it as it wraps around. But that's a brick wall that goes from right all the way through to that gate there. So again, not a wooden fence that's going to blow over. Nice brick wall, so it just adds a bit of character in there. That path takes you through to that gate at the back, and then you've got a parking space that's allocated to the property directly behind. And slightly to the left, you've got some undercover carport space as well. So 2 spaces that are just sitting outside there. And it's a lovely spot. As you can see, it's a sun trap. They've got one of those big kind of canopy umbrellas that pops out, so it's perfect. Nice and easy maintenance, nice evergreen bushes. I'm not a big gardener. I wouldn't want anything that's got loads of flowers, so this one lends quite well to me. But yeah, it's a nice feature, the garden here.
Perfect. And we've just got the floor plan here. We'll just have a quick look at the floor. I don't know how well people can see that, but what type of person would you, I mean, you know, it's up to anybody, isn't it? But this would suit a family, I would say. Would that be fair to say?
I would say so, yeah. I think you're looking at a family. If they've got younger kids, but if you had older kids, you know, you wouldn't have a problem with putting teenagers in bed 2 or bed 3. They're good sized double bedrooms. If you've got a family or you like to entertain via the kitchen, you know, a 22.5-foot kitchen is not something to shy away from. So that's a lovely space. And then you've got the same with the living room. And as we can see, the double doors that take you out to the conservatory. So whether you're kind of an entertaining kind of couple or whether you're a family with young kids or older kids, it doesn't really matter. And I know he's slightly brushed over the landing, but just you can see from the floor plan here, I don't normally take a photo of the landing, but I did on this one because it's massive. And it's got the window in the landing as well. So as you come upstairs, it's quite a light, airy room or a nice airy space, a nice bright space. So yeah, that's a nice feature to the property too. So yeah, really, really lovely house.
Fantastic. It does look beautiful. And just quickly, if somebody's interested in finding more about that property, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can get in contact with us. Our phone number is 01344 249 500. But we are we're very social media orientated. So we've got a presence across kind of LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Avocado Property Berkshire is most of our information and contact actually comes through Facebook Messenger these days. So any of those ways, feel free to email or prod us, poke us, whatever you want to do. We'll get back to you.
Fantastic. Right. That was 30 Spoonbill Rise, a beautiful property. And we're going to move to an area that I'm very familiar with now as well. So we are going over to Windermere Gate, and we have another nice little video to show. So if I could just ask Elaine to play the 19 Windermere Gate video.
Hi, it's Mike from Avocado Property. Welcome to sunny Windermere Gate in Bracknell. Today we've got a 3-bedroom semi-detached house on the market. It's 10 years old, but it's already been completely remodelled downstairs, effectively doubling the size of the kitchen. There's also the addition of a conservatory and a lovely sunny garden. Let's go inside and have a look.
This, I'm going to let you in a little secret. I used to live in Windermere Gate. I used to live in the flats there, and I can say from experience, it is a beautiful place to live. And if you like to socialise as well, there is a lovely pub down the road, probably 150 metres or so down the road, called the Green Man. I know you can't go at a minute, but when we do get out of this, it's a lovely place, and it's a nice area as well. It's actually you can walk into the town centre, and it's a nice walk to the town centre as well. So it's good for the train station as well. So if you have to commute for work, it's a great place to live. But I'm not the agent, Ian. You are. So talk me through this property, because I think it's a cracker.
Yeah, I mean, Windermere Gate, it's a small kind of development that's built about 10 years ago. But as you rightly said, you can walk through the Bracknell underpass down Crowthorne Road, which gets you straight into town, straight to the bus stop, the train station. And if you are a commuter, it's basically at the bottom of the A329M as well. So you've got that, as you can go left, or if you get down to the bottom of that road, you can go right, takes you on the Bagshot Road straight off to the M4, M3 corridors. So yeah, it's a good location. Normally what I find with a house is I try and give it a target audience for a potential buyer. But on this one, it's kind of lends to all sorts of different demographics. So as we have a look through it, it will be quite interesting to point out some of the features. So it's the only 3-bed semi. These two are both 3-bed semis, and this is the only one. And as you can see, it's kind of got the full frontage there. So it's an individual one on the actual development itself. The parking spaces are the 2 direct spaces directly in front. Just nice looking house, really. Nice brickwork.
Yeah, it is.
See what they've done with the kind of plants out the front, give it a nice bit of character as well. As you can see, the entrance there, it's just got that nice feel. I always say, as an estate agent, and I've done some videos actually that talk about first impressions and how important a first impression is. Apparently, men make a first impression within 7 seconds and women 3 seconds. So you've got 3 seconds to kind of convince the lady that's viewing that this is the right house for them to get the right feel about it. So that frontage hopefully gives a lot of people the right sort of feeling that it could be the house for them. And then obviously inside is where it comes from there. But yeah, important. If you are selling a house, first impressions, they say it counts, and it really, really does. Feelings are important when you're buying a property, and that is something that is definitely important.
Definitely. So, I mean, you talk about first impression. The first impression of the exterior is beautiful, and this is the very first thing you'll see. This is the hallway as you walk in, isn't it? I know immediately it has a nice feeling, does it? For me, it just has a nice feeling. And I guess straight on, is that into the living room? Let's bring the picture of the living room up. That looks beautiful to me.
Yeah, you walk through into the living room, and again, it's why I said it's hard to sort of target who you want. They've got a massive sofa in there, and they've got the telly on the wall. But if you had kids, you know, and you needed space to put some toys or something like that, it's a big living room where you could divide it into different sections. And and that is a conservatory on the back, which we'll look at in a second, which again gives you more living space. So they've done a few things since they bought the property in the kitchen as well. You can just see the breakfast chairs there to the bottom right, but the lounge itself.
Okay.
And as we look at the kitchen, flick to the kitchen. So this wasn't originally how it was set. This was a divided kitchen, a separate space, but where they've kind of knocked it around and brought it out, they've almost doubled the size of the kitchen because you haven't got a partition wall or a door anymore.
Right.
So people like that open plan space, don't they? I don't know if you're a fan as well, Ian, but they like that open plan space typically.
Yeah, I am definitely. And I know you said the development's only 10 years old, but it still has a brand new, very modern feel to me. And I like that style. That's my personal preference. And 10 years old, but it still looks as if it's just a new build, really. Brand new build.
The kitchen's replaced, so you'd think, with a 10-year-old kitchen you wouldn't need to, but where they've knocked it around, it is changed. And there's things that I like to point out. So you've got the extractor there. It's not just a basic level extractor; it's a high standard extractor. You've obviously got the hob there as well, which is slightly different. And you can just about see it, the wine rack below as well. So that the wine cooler.
I'd make good use of that. Don't you worry about that.
It's probably empty after lockdown. I think most people have drunk through that one. But no, it's good. And a nice sort of bay fronted window as well. So that's a high standard kitchen, porcelain sink, dishwasher tap. It's a nice high standard kitchen and they've done really well the way they've opened it out.
They have, and you touched on the conservatory. Let's go in there now. Let's have a quick look at the conservatory, shall we? Beautiful.
Yeah. I think this is why I say it's different target audiences. Some people want big gardens. If you want big gardens, this property isn't for you. That's the honest view. If you want easy maintenance garden and just a small area to kind of sun in, it's perfect. But if you need the downstairs living space, then this has got that. They've got it as an entertaining kind of dining room. If you had young children, potentially you would set it up like we saw in the last house as a play area. But I like it. It's a big conservatory as well. I think we've got the floor plan we'll look at the end and you can see the dimensions of it, but a big conservatory and a nice usable space. Not often do you see in a modern 3-bedroom semi, a size of the kitchen we've just seen, a downstairs toilet, entrance hall, that a nice kind of galley through, big lounge and big conservatory. So this is all about the downstairs space, opposed to kind of garden space, for example. Fantastic.
Well, let's go upstairs and have a quick look at the. I guess this is the master bedroom, isn't it? Does that storage stay with the house? Because that's attractive storage, isn't it? I have to say, my wife, I think she's watching this now, and I can say that she's in dreamland seeing all that storage.
It's got more opposite it as well, but it's all built in. They built it in really nice standards, big bed, and it's a lovely setup. If you've got a lot of shoes, I don't know whether you have, Ian. I don't have too many, but my wife does. Then
no, I don't. My wife does. I don't.
shoe space, storage space. Everything you need in a master bedroom, really. So ideal.
Perfect. I'm not allowed a lot of shoes, Ian. I'm not allowed a lot of shoes.
I'm actually doing quite well. I'm not too bad, but I've dropped all my suit shoes since we started the new business because we don't need them anymore. So a bit more casual on the shoe front.
You mentioned the floor plan. Let's have a look at the floor plan.
Yeah, so you can see the size of the kitchen breakfast room, 15.5 foot long. You can see the width of the lounge diner. It's called a lounge dining room, but effectively, it's just a big lounge the way they've got it set up, but 16 foot wide. And conservatory as well, nice footage. And then upstairs, you've got the big cupboard space that we spoke about in the master, decent size ensuite. Nice landing space as well, a bit more wardrobe space in bed 3 and in bed 2. So it's got the storage space, which you don't always find in the new builds. But it's a nice house. And again, I talk about feelings. When you go around there, it's just got a nice feel about it. Vendors have done really well.
Yeah. And as I say, I can certainly vouch for the area. I know it very well, having lived there myself. A beautiful area. Just quickly, we didn't touch on the price of this one. This is on the market for
425.
45. Brilliant. Fantastic. And again, if somebody's just tuned in now to this program, how do they, and they're interested in finding out more about this property or perhaps booking a viewing, if you wouldn't mind just giving your phone number and contact details again, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, so the best contact number is 01344 249 500. and easy ways to contact us. If you're watching on Facebook, just look at Avocado Property Berkshire, send us a direct message. If you're watching it on Instagram later, DM us as well, or our email address is info@avocadoberkshire.co.uk.
Fantastic. Excellent. Right. We have the third and final property now to show, and it's Blomfield Dale. Dale. That is the right way to say, isn't it? Blomfield Dale. And before we get your expertise on it, Ian, we do have one final video to play. So I just asked Elaine to play the video for Blomfield Dale.
Brilliant.
Hi everyone, it's Ian from Avocado Property. Really delighted to welcome to the market this 4-bedroom detached family home in Amen Corner, Binfield. As you can see from the side with the camper van, excellent driveway parking space. It's one of only 3 with the double garage to the side here, and there is potential for planning to extend over the garage should you see fit. Can't wait to show you the garden. Come and have a look.
Your business model is clearly working because you've got some crackers in there. How much is this one on the market for?
This one's on for 550.
550. I'm going to bring up the front shot, the exterior shot, and if you could just give us some details, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, so it's in Amen Corner, which is Binfield. So if you know kind of Binfield, Woking and Bracknell, it's kind of right up there towards the London Road as you head towards the A329M, just where the Blue Mountain Golf Course is kind of being developed on. So it's in and around that area. The road itself is at the back of the development where all the detached houses sit, and to the front you've got the smaller properties. In this road, there's only 3 that have got the double garage. So this is kind of one of the premium ones. It's actually number 1, so it's kind of the original kind of feature of the route of the development and of the road. There's a lot of options with this property. So if there's builders watching or people that are looking to kind of knock a house around or add value to it, you know, the property could sell at 600 with the right kind of changes to it. But over the garage,
wow, okay.
Yeah, people have had planning permission on neighbouring properties to go over the garage. So you could easily put big ensuite, big master bedroom, add a 5th bedroom if you wanted to. But that's a value adder, quite easily done. To the left there where you see the brick wall, there's easy planning options to put a conservatory, big conservatory out the back there as well. It wouldn't take up too much of the garden. And where the kitchen is as well, when we look at the floor plan, there's an opportunity to go to the right of the kitchen behind the garage and really extend the kitchen into a big kind of kitchen areas. So if you really wanted to, you could kind of develop it in 3 different areas, to be honest.
Excellent. Well, look, let's have a look inside the house. So I know we normally start in the lounge, but you've just been talking on the kitchen. Let's go into the kitchen first of all.
Yeah,
it is a hub of the family, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They've got they haven't got their kids living with them. Lovely South African couple that live there. They replaced the kitchen 10 years ago. So nice double oven that you've got in there. It's a private kitchen. You've got the back door to the right of where that oven is, which takes you out to the garage. So if you've got, you know, the bins and all the messy stuff that you want to go from kitchen to garage in, you can easily do that. You can see the hedge out the window there, which when we look at the garden, that's probably the biggest selling feature of it. So it's a nice private kitchen. Yeah. But yeah, everything you need in a kitchen. And there's a bit more storage and kind of work surface space behind this photo where I'm actually standing when I took the photo as well. But yeah, 10 years old, nice kitchen.
It is nice. It is nice. So let's move into the lounge then, into the living area. Shall we? Again, this is another important part. And can I say, what is that hanging off the wall?
Well, they're characters that live there. I really get on really well with them, actually, and they've got some features there. I mean, I even said to them about the table. Can we sell the table with the house, because it'll add some value? You can't see it too well in the photo there, but they've got a lovely big wooden table that they brought over from South Africa. So yeah, they've got the rug hanging there, the fireplace, obviously. They've built in a lot of, it's freestanding, but a lot of storage units. They actually work from home. So there's a lot of stuff that they've got for the kind of what they do from a home perspective. But if you've got friends over, the lounge is huge. There's lots of seating space as well. And yeah, different people have got different touches, different tastes, but it's a big size. It's got loads of kind of seating area. You can see the back of it there as well, which leads through to the dining area. And again, it's another living room which hasn't got the telly as the main feature, which is something, I don't know, I quite like that. I think when you've just got a telly in your living room and that's the big feature, it just doesn't feel right. But
yes,
yeah, lovely big room, lens through all the way into the dining area and then out into the garden as well. So
fantastic. And there is the dining area, of course, and very open and spacious, it feels.
Yeah, it's a big square room. So, you know, they've got a round table in there. You could get a different type of shaped dining table if you wanted to. But that's actually a big glass table. And as you can see, you've got 6 seats around it. Is there 5 or 6? 6. Optical illusion.
6, yes. Yeah.
Optical illusion.
It is, isn't it?
But yeah, it's a nice all-you-need space for the dining area, basically. But the main thing is you've got the French doors that lead out into this lovely garden.
And speaking of the garden, let's have a look. We've got a couple of nice pictures of the garden, and you mentioned the hedge before. It was from the kitchen, wasn't it? And there it is. That gives you a lot of privacy.
Yeah, I was surprised when I came to the property for the first time. Actually, they've been there 25 years, and when I did the Zoom valuation with them, which is how we're sort of having to do valuations in principle at the moment, they said to me about the garden, but you couldn't really get an idea of what they were talking about until you actually got there and saw it. It's so private. Behind this photo is a brick wall which goes all the way back to kind of where we saw the front of the house. So you haven't got a fence. You're not really overlooked in any way whatsoever. You've got the nice kind of patio area there as well, which is a bit of a sun trap. They've got one of those massive umbrellas that pop up as well, which a lot of people have got too. But as you sit there, it's just a lovely, lovely feel to the garden and very, very private. And it's really wide. It goes from garage all the way around to the brick wall. So it's a nice wide garden as well. And yeah, lovely big hedge that gives you a lot of privacy.
Absolutely. And let's, again, we finish on the floor plan. Let's have a little look at that floor plan. I mean, we didn't get to see upstairs, but just talk us through this. 4 bedrooms, that's right, isn't there? I can see there's 4 bedrooms, ensuite and bathroom as well.
Sometimes the bedrooms with the photos, if people have got big beds in there or they've got an office, sometimes it's easier to just let the floor plan do the work. This has got 4 good sized bedrooms. I spoke to someone yesterday actually that inquired on it, and we were talking about having teenage kids going in. And I said, look, if you're moving in with teenage kids, they're not going to fight over 3 and 2 because they're fairly similar in size. So that'd be quite a nice feature. And then bed 4 is still, you know, nothing to worry about in terms of size as well. It's the same sort of depth as the master bedroom. So yeah, that's where I was talking about the extension. So if you see where the kitchen is in the garage, effectively you could extend that kitchen all the way to the back of the garage if you wanted to, or halfway.
Wow, that would be huge.
Yeah, it would be. And where you've got lounge, big entrance hall, wider than average, and then dining area, if you did kind of bring that extension across there, then you've got some really nice private different rooms that you could use in a big open plan kitchen. To the left of the dining room, that's where you could bring the conservatory in if you wanted to, because the garden wraps around and tucks down almost to where the fireplace is effectively. There's a brick wall, so your garden carries on there. So yeah, it's got another couple of extra features. And if you are a builder looking for a family house, it's pretty much perfect for you.
Fantastic. Well, look, Ian, that's the 3 houses. As if by magic, it's done. It's finished. And just finally, for all 3 properties, or just for any sort of advice, or if you're looking to buy, looking to sell, how do we get in touch with you again, Ian, just for people tuning in now? What's the best way to get in touch with Avocado Property and yourself?
Yeah, you can call us on 01344 249 500. Our email address that goes to me and Mike that you saw in one of the videos is info@avocadoberkshire.co.uk. or you can Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, message us. We're available on those social channels as well. And if any buyers or vendors kind of need any advice or have got any advice and they want to talk to someone that's going to be maybe a bit more honest and open with them and talk about their needs, then we're happy to answer any questions on those platforms as well. We're not doing it for the profit. We're trying to do it for the people and try and save the industry, really, because it's not liked, and it's probably one that is likely to fade away unless people treat it a little bit differently. So, yeah, if anyone wants any help from a kind of more bespoke agent, then we are happy to be that help.
Fantastic. And if you do want to get in touch, you do just drop a quick comment below. Even after, we will see these. Ian will go through them and get in touch with you. So Ian Macbeth from Avocado Property Berkshire, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure taking your advice, going through the houses, getting a real in-depth look at them. I've been Ian Waterhouse, your host for the Surrey Berks Live Property Show, and we'll be back soon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much, everybody, and go enjoy the rest of your day. That is a wrap. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.